Hey YouTube and Facebook, James Everett. Well, a lot of people know me as Not So Slim Jim. A lot of people know my real name, James Everett. Now, a lot of you know I recently ran for mayor here in Killeen, and I lost. I came in second, wasn't a real close second, but second I did. But a lot of people know I am a constitutional rights activist, and I support anyone who wants to uphold their right to be able to film in public or who wants to bear arms and protect their personal property from unreasonable search and seizure. And I have some friends who are activists in different realms, some in the Second Amendment, some in the First Amendment. And one of my friends, David Warden, he's the guy who runs News Now Houston. I call him the gold standard of knowing First Amendment rights when it comes to recording. Because this guy, he knows where he can record, he knows when he can record, what he can record, and he knows the laws. Now, a big problem we're seeing nowadays is a lot of people are confused on exactly what the law is, so they figure if they just shove a camera in a cop's face and say, oh, you're violating my rights, that gives them the automatic right because they're having their rights trampled. Well, the problem is a lot of people, they don't know the laws in the United States, or particularly here in Texas. And they think just because their ignorance of the law makes them right because they don't think something's illegal or they think it shouldn't be illegal or something of that nature. Thus, they have the moral fortitude and high ground to be able to protest and resist arrest and things of that nature. Now, we all know I have a little experience with bad cops and you could say not exactly going along with unlawful orders. Now, the problem with that is you have to be 110% sure that what you're doing is legal if you ever decide to not go along with what a police is saying, because it has to be a lawful order. If it's an unlawful order, then they're just yelling at you. If it's a lawful order and you know for a fact what you're doing is illegal, well, you're kind of just an asshole at that point. So I want to talk about something that actually happened here in Killeen just last night. And it's something that's getting a lot of people kind of hot and bothered. And a lot of people think that I'm automatically anti-police because I am for accountability of bad police. Well, that's very far from the truth. I'm very much pro-police, but I'm pro-accountability. So if you're a good cop who upholds the law and follows the Constitution, and when they realize another cop's doing something bad, they'll call them out, or they realize something is a violation of the Constitution, they won't enforce it, that is a good cop, and I support them 100%. And if there's a bad cop, obviously I know a little about that, then I don't support them. So we're going to go over a video here in just a second. I'm going to want you guys to watch it. Then we're going to explain exactly what happened. So let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Stand out of the car. Get out of the car. Please. Turn around. Put your hands on the car.
Hold on.
Turn around. Hands on the car.
Hold on. No.
Turn around. Hands on the car.
This is right. I'm sorry.
You're going to be tased.
I don't have
What
nothing.
you gonna tase
You're
him
going to
for?
be tased.
What you gonna tase him? What you tasing them for though? What are you tasing them for?
Get out of the car.
What are you tasing them
Get out
for?
of the car.
What are y'all
Get
tasing
out
them for?
on the ground.
I'm sorry.
Get out of the car on the ground.
Why are you tasing them
Get
though?
out of the car on the ground.
What are you tasing them for?
Get out of the car on the ground. On the ground.
What are you tasing them for? What are you tasing them for? What are you tasing them for though?
Get out.
Okay.
What are you tasing them for,
I'm
officer?
trying. I'm on the ground.
What are you tasing them
I'm just in my
for?
car. I'm just in my car.
What are you tasing them for?
Please. I was just sitting in my
Mr.
car.
Crawford, comply or you're going to get tased again.
What are you tasing them for, officer?
Go over to the left. Go over
I'm
there.
far enough. I got enough space.
To see you.
Hey, you can see me. You looking dead at me.
I'm trying.
What are you tasing him for though?
I'm scared. I'm sorry.
What are y'all tasing him for?
I'm sorry.
What are you tasing him for though?
Beyond reasoning with him, pull him out and
Why are
get
you
him.
tasing him?
My car. I'm just sitting here chilling.
He been sitting in his car, JT.
What is y'all tasing him for?
He been in his
I
car.
just been chilling.
Why
Look
y'all
like-
messing with him?
Why y'all like that, bro?
No, he been in his car.
chilling in my car. I'm just chilling in my car. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What are you tasing them for? I'm trying to figure out what is this all about.
I ain't do nothing. I'm just sitting in my car. Bro, I'm just sitting in my car, bro, chilling. And they just came, ran up on me, bro.
For what? Did somebody call y'all out here, officer?
No.
Did somebody call y'all out here, man?
No, bro.
Ain't nobody call
Hey,
y'all
get
out
him
here,
back.
so what are y'all here for? I am back. You better not come over here and touch me. I'm back far enough, buddy.
No, you're not back far
Yes,
enough.
I
You're
am.
about to go to jail.
For what?
Back up.
I live here.
Back up. Back up. You're in my space. Back up.
All right.
Back up.
Going
Back
this far.
up.
You
Back
don't
up.
touch me, officer.
Back up.
Don't touch
Back
me,
up.
officer.
I'm about to touch you.
I'm already back far enough,
Back
so don't
up.
touch me.
Back up. Back up.
I live
I'm gonna
here, man.
draw this line in the sand when you get on that
I live here.
sidewalk.
Yeah, I get on the
Then
sidewalk.
Go put that in my
I
fucking
get in the
face.
sidewalk. Don't touch my camera, man. It's recorded too.
Good for you.
So you
Mine's
keep
recording
touching. What's
too.
your name? All right, bet. Now
Bet.
you just came up here
Go, go, go,
intimidating
go.
me.
Back up.
What you keep
Back up.
touching me for?
Back up.
All right, keep on touching me.
Absolutely.
Don't worry about it. I'm standing right here.
Good.
Keep
Step
on
off that
touching
sidewalk,
me.
you're going to jail.
All right, don't worry about it. I ain't coming out the sidewalk. Don't touch me though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you do. And if you want to touch me on this camera. Because I know you ain't going to take that
I'm
vest
recording
off
right
and that
now.
badge off and touch me. You going to do that shit while you got that shit on. I guarantee you that, buddy. Straight up. Keep this shit right here so you can see your face. Duck. What's your name? Duck?
My face. Get that out of my face.
Give me my camera.
The same thing as driving down the highway. I know it's dumb. I had a friend in the army who once, when was drunk in the barracks, went to go get a CD out of a CD player in his car right when the MPs drove by, and he got a DUI for getting a CD out of his car because he had the keys and he turned the ignition to just not start, just the run position to get the CD out. DUI. Not a great law, but that is in fact the law, so people have to realize that. And this guy wasn't in the back seat, he was in the passenger seat, he was sitting behind the steering wheel with his keys, smoking marijuana and drinking alcohol. So that is in fact illegal. And the police drove by, they rode by, they were bike cops. Yep. Smelled the marijuana, confronted the man, saw the open alcohol container, and they asked him to step out. When they asked him to step out, which if you look, very established law for, you got Pennsylvania versus Mims for a traffic stop, officers have the legal ability to demand people, not just the driver, but any person in the vehicle, to step out of the vehicle for temporary detention or immediate search purposes, which means they can only search the immediate area of where they were sitting, but they can do it for if they believe another crime had been committed. And at this point, they had marijuana, they had an open alcohol container, so they had the legal ability to detain him, remove him from the vehicle, and search the vehicle for the narcotics. And there's no way around it. This was an absolutely legal stop. They asked him to come out. He refused, and of course, policing nowadays, they're taught not to go hands-on. After Rodney King, cops are told don't go hands-on, and then with police safety nowadays, they don't want cops getting injured on the job and having to get paid vacation for 6 months while they heal up. So they say use pepper spray, use tasers, because they used to be called non-lethal. Now they're less than lethal because they realize pepper spray and tasers can in fact kill people. And they tried it. First one didn't hit. Killeen Police Department now has the dual shot taser, so they hit him the second time. He sat down. He actually went back into the vehicle, tasered him, told him to get out, still didn't get out, tasered him again. Finally, he started to slink his way out. They helped him out of the vehicle, and from that point, they started to arrest him. Now, I don't know the exact charges that were put out for him. It hasn't been released by KPD yet, which we'll get further in a moment. But there was another gentleman who was not in the vehicle. Now, here's an issue. A lot of people think that you have the First Amendment right to record police, and that is absolutely correct. You do. But there is limitations to exactly how you can go about it. You cannot go between the officer and a person being arrested. You can't do that. That is interference. If you're physically interfering with an officer doing that job, that is a crime in Texas. Now, you can verbally interfere all you want because the law in Texas specifically says you have the right to verbally interfere, and that's not illegal. So you can talk all the crap you want to. But officers also have the right to give a lawful order. So for officer safety and for public safety during an arrest, so let's say we got a guy who had to be tased. and they're trying to arrest him and they're having issues doing so. If they tell you, hey, we're trying to exact this arrest and you are entirely too close and you're being aggressive to an extent, they can tell you you need to step 10, 15 feet away. Now, you may think you can do whatever you want to, but you can't. They tell you got to step 10, 15 feet away, you need to step 10, 15 feet away. Now, they tell you got to go 100 feet away, they tell you got to go way on the other side of a park or something of that nature. That is unconstitutional. They can't do that. But they can tell you with limited ability, during certain situations where an officer is engaged in a lawful activity, where there might be a threat to the officer or citizens, you have to step a certain distance. You have to understand that has to be done. If you don't, you can get charged with interfering. Now, the person recording eventually had some officers push him away and said, hey, you need to get to the sidewalk. And the sidewalk was, from what it looks like, about 15, 20 feet, which is, I would say, an acceptable distance. Some people may say otherwise. That's a arguable thing. But he refused to do so, was aggressive. The officers tried to, what they call, basically corral him further away. They didn't say he couldn't record. If he would have stepped back to the sidewalk, he could have recorded all he wanted to, but he decided to try to get right in the officer's face, and officer, physically moved him back. Didn't push him to the ground, didn't do anything of that nature, physically moved him back. And, it's a difficult one. If you're given a lawful order that you need to step 20 feet away, you need to go to the sidewalk while we're doing this, you still have the ability to record. You can still continue to do what you're doing, but you need to do it a certain small distance for officer safety, and you decide to not comply. That very much so, when it goes in front of a court, judge, jury, they're probably going to find you that you broke the law on that one. So people need to be smart when they're recording the police. You can't get in their face. You can't get 6 inches from them and put a really bright light right in their eyes, which I know a lot of cops do that to people too, and it's annoying because I got photosensitivity and it hurts my head. But you have to understand that when you do that, when you act super aggressive towards cops and you get in their face and you yell and scream at them, you're not going to get a positive reaction. And that's exactly what happened in this case. Now, the gentleman who's recording said that they detained him and took his phone. The officers did take the phone, and I talked to people who were at the briefing for this afterwards. His phone was given immediately back to him. He wasn't arrested. He wasn't charged. The man who was arrested, they ended up impounding his car. Not impounding to the police station. They just had it towed to a local lot. We're going to have it taken out because it was part of an investigation because of narcotics found in it. He was released today, literally less than 24 hours later. It looks like they reduced many of the charges due to public outcry, which basically means enough people complained, so they dropped most of the charges down to minimal ones. And from what I was told, it looks like he is going to be doing state's evidence. People know what that means, so they might get the charges reduced or dropped. Hard to tell. That's hearsay at this point. Don't know exactly on that one. But it looks like he's not going to have any issues. So that's the story on this one. My big lesson on this is don't always believe just what you see on a camera. Sometimes you got to wait for all the evidence to come out. KPD will probably be releasing the body cam footage, because no dash cam because they're bike cops, of this sometime in the next week or two, and we can do a further breakdown of it if people want to. If not, this is a valuable lesson on being smart, especially when recording police, and how to interact with police. Know the laws, and don't just think because you don't understand them that they're not valid. As usual, any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comment section.